Hey art nerds! Today I thought it would be a lot of fun to do a demonstration to show how you can draw the same character a bunch of different ways. So I decided to draw Kara with as many different ways as come naturally to me. I didn't want to reference anybody else's art. I wasn't trying to draw like anyone else. I just wanted to come up with a bunch of different art styles to draw Kara. So I am starting with kind of what I call my house style. So this is how she looks in most illustrations and in the comic itself. It's a style that's pretty inspired by like Studio Ghibli and some anime and a lot of Disney stuff. And it's just kind of a culmination of all the things that inspire me. So I start off pretty simply drawing a circle, and then I elongate that circle down to the rest of the face. And I have a lot of tutorials here on this channel where I show you guys how I draw people in various art styles. So this is just sort of the basic way for that. Once I've got the basic face shape sketched in, I use a crosshair to subdivide it across the face horizontally and across the face vertically. This allows me to place the eyes. I draw 3 eyes, starting with a center eye that isn't the real eye, and then the actual eyes on either side. About halfway down the face, I place the nose, and halfway between the nose and the bottom of the chin, I place her mouth. I draw a small pebble-shaped oval at the bottom of her face that's going to help me draw her chin later on. Her ears are fairly prominent. They stick out a fair amount. My style is really based on what I think is cute and what I think is cute based on real life observation and how that would translate into a cartoony style. So I wouldn't really call it like an anime or a manga art style because it's really influenced a lot by what I see here in the US and how kids look here in the US. I also block in her hair. I start with her bangs. I keep it pretty simple. She's basically got 3 sort of like clover leaf sort of things going on in the front, and then she's got short hair in the back. So in this art style, the hair has basically 2 distinct regions, and then she's got 2 little side things hanging down at the front of the face in front of her ears. She has a big ol' smiley mouth that basically extends to both outer edges of either eye, if I say that correctly. So generally, even in realistic faces, your mouth would come to about the edges of your eye, but no further than that. Alright, so let's do another style. For this, I wanted to do sort of my basic convention chibi style. This isn't quite how I would normally draw it. It's not as cute as it normally is. But you guys can see it has a lot in common with my house style. It's just that most of the features are exaggerated. So the hair is bigger, softer, rounder. The eyes are bigger and rounder. The mouth is larger. The ears are rounder and larger. Her hair itself is larger and more bouncy. Her chin is, she has like rounder cheeks, and it doesn't quite come to like, I don't want to say the point of the chin because she has kind of a rounded chin, but it never really comes to like an actual chin shape. It just keeps the soft, round, bubbly forms. So in this version of the chibi style, normally I would draw the circle for her head much larger. I don't really know why I didn't do it here, but that is something I would normally do. I have a video where I show you guys how I draw Kara in 3 different styles. I'll link that as well as loads of other drawing tutorials down in the description below for those of you who are looking to find your own art style or you want to improve your art. Those are a great place to check out. So you guys might notice as we go through the different styles that I sketch everything in first, and I'm drawing with color pencil. There's no erasing here. And once I have everything kind of sketched out, I tighten it up much darker. Okay, so next we're going to do a more realistic face. Now, Kara isn't really based off of anyone in particular. There's no face claim. There's no one I can Google and be like, ah, that's what Kara looks like. So what I'm doing is I'm translating how I draw her in my more anime style and trying to think how a real person might look. And that means every time I've drawn Kara realistically, I change a few things here and there. I mess around. There's no really set in stone way to draw Kara realistically, but maybe that's something I'd like to explore in the future. So the eyes are still pretty large, but they're much smaller than in my house style or in the chibi style that I draw. And her eyebrows are not quite as far up in the head. Her nose is pretty much exactly in the middle of her face, and it's very similar to how I draw it for the house style. I also do the little divot that you get at the top of the lips. and I draw her upper eyelids. Now, if I were drawing this larger, I would add a lot more detail to this, and I would love to do a realistic Kara portrait for you guys so you guys can see how I draw things and people more realistically. So hopefully keep an eye out for that. It'd be really fun to revisit this as a tutorial in and of itself. So basically what changes between my house style and my more realistic style is that everything is drawn much smaller. So in the house style, everything is big and expressive and a little bit over the top. For the more realistic style, I'm trying to pull things back in. So her ears, as you can see, she still has fairly large ears and fairly large eyebrows, but her ears don't stick out as much as they do in the house style, and her eyebrows are not quite as defined as they are in the house style. So for more realistic hair, I mean, my hair kind of divides itself into clumps, but generally our hair doesn't quite, the divisions aren't quite as obvious as they would be in a cartoony style. So I still want Kara to look like Kara, so I do still have some of the more major divisions, but I try to break it up a little bit more and make it look like it's not been hair gelled into place. I also bring some of her hair over one of her ears, and then I have a clump of hair kind of tucked behind the other ear. And if I really wanted it to be more realistic, I would shade the hair some as well. So you guys probably notice I'm not drawing each individual strand of hair because hair kind of moves like a fluid in that it moves in clumps together. So this would be one that would be a lot of fun to revisit at a much larger size. So I wanted to go really, really anime since that was one of my major inspirations when I was developing my art. So I decided to go with a shoujo style, kind of inspired by Arina Tanemura. So for this, we're going to really exaggerate some features while really minimizing others. So she's going to have a really, really long, elegant neck, big expressive eyes, a big expressive mouth, a teeny tiny little nose, and much smaller ears. She's also going to have big, very fluffy, very curly hair. So now that I've got everything kind of basically sketched in, it's time to refine it. And I hope you guys have noticed that my approach to drawing the face doesn't change all that much from style to style. What really changes is just the proportions that I draw everything with. So I break the hair up a little bit more and add a little bit more curl for the shoujo aesthetic. Also add big shinies to her eyes and actually draw the irises in. And the mouth is just a little bit more open than it is in the house style. Now when it comes to shoujo, as I've said with manga, there's no one set particular style. Different artists, different creators have different art styles that they use to tell the stories they're telling. But there are some tropes that tend to be more popular and tend to be more common, such as the larger eyes. The larger mouths, it's actually not necessarily a popular thing in shoujo. Some artists like to do it and some don't, so it's really a matter of taste. Alright, so we did anime. Let's do very simple, very cute dots for eyes. I think of this as kind of my children's picture book style. And it's very, very simple. This is the style that I don't actually do the 3-eye placement. I just draw eyes kind of much, much wider than an eye width apart. This is a very quick style to draw on, and it's a lot of fun. I think it's a very cute style. And in this style, everything is really simplified. So I want expressions to be very quick and very easy to read, and I also simplify the masses of her hair. Of course, as you guys have probably noticed, there's some elements that stay the same no matter how I draw her. So I decided I wanted to have another go at the chibi style, but I wanted to do something different. So I'm just kind of working from what I like and my imagination, basically just making up kind of a new style on the spot here. So we have a big open smiling mouth. We have jug handle ears that are kind of lower set on the face. We have a much more rounded chin. And then her eyes are not quite as big as they were in the chibi style. This is also a style where the highlight is in the very center of the eye. That's a style choice that I think is pretty cute. It doesn't always work. She also has much smaller, but still very prominent and fairly heavy eyebrows. I've also simplified the masses of her hair quite a bit. But as you guys can still see, her bangs in the front of her hair is still a distinct mass from the back of her hair. And you can break hair up as much as you need to achieve the art style that you're looking to get. So next, I'm doing what I call my B style, and it's kind of, it's hard to describe. It's a fairly easy to draw art style. It's fairly simple. Everything's very rounded. It tends to work really well for more simple comics, and it's a lot quicker to draw and very quick to ink, and it really lends itself to inking with a brush. This is an art style I developed way back in like 2016 when I was doing my favorite fictional femme zine. And it is very strongly influenced by Kiyohiko Azuma's art. So if you like Yotsuba, you can definitely tell that Azumanga Daioh really left a big thumbprint on my life. Even with this simple art style though, I break the face down into 3 eye shapes first, and then I draw my eyes. And that allows me to consistently place eyes no matter what view we're drawing in, 3/4 view, profile view, 3/4 away. I wanted to do one more art style somewhere in between the B style I showed you guys and the dots for eyes that you guys can see on the screen. So it's basically dots for eyes that actually have eyelids. So like with the dots for eyes, I don't draw the 3rd eye as placement. I just kind of guess where the eyes are going to go. And there's a lot in common with both the dots for eyes and the B art style. And I'm not super happy with this. This is one that I'd like to refine a little bit more, figure out a kind of a different way to draw the mouth, add a little bit more nuance, and maybe change things up a little bit. So that is how to draw Kara 8 different ways. Once you've got kind of your base character design figured out, it's really fun and fairly easy to play around with a bunch of different art styles. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye guys!